Hello and welcome. This is Jay. This time not from the engineering office, which is why I look completely different, as it's actually an offline server and I can't get my skin if it's offline, obviously. So I'm a little feminine today, and I've done a huge, major update on Ymir, which I'm gonna try to keep as brief as possible in explanation. So here we go. Right now I'm on the edge of two biomes, and that is for a reason. First off, let me show you how the dwarf behavior changed. Well, the behavior didn't really change. What changed is how he is able to spawn Ymir. So, there's our dwarf. He doesn't have a skin right now either, because offline mode. Come here. Drag him over here, onto the diamond block. And what would usually happen if the spawning conditions for Ymir are met is that the dwarf gets frozen on the diamond block and emits particle effects. He doesn't do that right now, so the spawning conditions are not met. Oh. So let's get the block back. That's greedy. Kill off this guy real quick. And go over here. What I changed on the spawning conditions is that it actually has to be in a cold area. That is for several reasons. One of them because it's an ice giant, obviously, and another of them because it looks way cooler when you battle the guy in snow, which you will see in a second. You saw those particle effects there. Let's try this again. Come. There we go. He's frozen in place. That means the spawning conditions are met and we can start hacking at him. And really, a lot changed. A lot. I'm just gonna fly. Hell yeah. It's of course, again, laggy, because my computer still sucks. Nothing changed about that. And as you can see, it looks quite different. First off, you should be able to see the particle sphere around him quite well. Not always. If you look closely, it's mostly the depth suspend particles. And if you get close, he starts to emit smoke particles too, which looks really cool. It's a perimeter warning, basically. Now the next thing is the wisps look different. They don't emit smoke anymore, but instead are just pure colors. And which wisp you have to kill, or which you have to kill in which order, is indicated by the particle line, which you can see right there. It's going between Ymir itself and the green wisp. That plays randomly and also constantly when I get close enough. Let's kill it off. And get our usual dwarfs, which didn't really change, so let me just kill them off like this. It always lasts for a second. I did heavy adjusting around everything, the particles, the sound effects, to make it match more with vanilla and produce less lag. The whole syntax and code has been rewritten to be more efficient and removed redundancies and whatnot. And also added very cool new skills. This is the shit, basically. I mean, I'm really proud of this, you gotta see this. And he's gonna show one of them off as I'm gonna kill the next wisp. So, the blue one it is, just gotta wait for it to pop up. There it is, hard to see. Oh, it's lagging right now, of course. This computer. Oh, that was a big one. It really has to be down there now, does it? Now the wisps do get transported around randomly. They don't get pulled anymore, but instead get teleported to prevent them from pushing me around. Now watch. called the Frostbite, in combination with the Frost Nova. What happens is he does a Frost Nova, and if you get hit by the what you gonna call it, by the projectile that is on the ground, you get hit by a Frostbite or an Ice Pickle or Ice Spike or whatever, which launches you up really far into the air. I'm again in God mode for demonstration purposes, obviously, and this is really cool. And he does it quite often late combat, and also every time the blue wisp is killed. Now let's do the red one, and we will see the next skill. Exploding ice bombs, raining from the sky. Not much to say about that. Pretty cool. Achieved with the help of disguised creepers and armor stands. I used a lot of armor stands dummy in this version. This is version 1.2 right now, basically. 1.1 had most of the major changes. In 1.2 I added some RPG-like weakness to him, and I'm gonna put the changelog in the video description if I can remember to do so, otherwise it will be in the download package for the mob. Let's just kill off the dwarfs again. That's another big thing, like you can't get close to Ymir right now. He's still got the force field on, that is until all the dwarfs are dead. And you can see now he entered the combat, his force field is gone, we can get close, the health bar is there, and the health bar changed, it's not so bulky and ugly anymore, it's slim, modern and smooth, I guess. And also, when you do damage, it will be indicated by a flash on the health bar. And he also jumps out blocks now properly, as opposed to just leaping really high into the air, which was really awkward. And he will track you down mostly everywhere. You can't just, go up the hill and hope not to get hit anymore. As you can see, he will more or less smartly track you down. And it's really cool. It's really cool. It's not perfect yet. I'm still working on it, but it's getting better. I'll jump again. Come on. There we go. He still turns the ground into ice and does other cool stuff if you're far away enough. This is probably not going to happen right now. The arena has changed too. You can probably not see the difference, but the ice spikes are higher and it's a little bigger now, to be more fitting to the theme. And as you can see, the whole setting in the snow just looks way better. And stuff is easier to see and to determine, as opposed to in the rain, which was really confusing in my opinion. And it's just way better for the theme. So, projectiles. Lots of them. More jumping. And I'm kind of hoping for some nice little frost novas and ice bombs right here to show off. But it's not really happening right now. So, I'll just give this guy the clutch. Well, actually, different thing. Way better. Let us try to lure him down here. And I have a flint and steel in my inventory for a reason. But I also need some netherrack for this. Well, let's do this. Whoops. Light it on fire. And what happens is, when he walks through the fire, he will freeze. And you will do more damage, and right now I can't attack because I got this slowness effect which he gives out. And he puts out the fire, you see that? There's basically 3 combat stances he uses right now. The first one being wet. When he is wet, he cannot be lit on fire. That is, unless he stands in a fire block, which will turn his stance to dry, where he will burn, as you just saw. And your attacks will do way more damage in that short 10-second period. And after the 10-second period is over, he will go into the soaking stance, in which he will turn off the fire, as you just saw, and he will also, as long as the soaking stance lasts, turn off all adjacent fires. Like, no, can't do this like that. Let's see. You see it all gets turned off as he walks into it. And I can also demonstrate this with some more netherrack. He comes close and the fire gets extinguished until the soaking stance is over, which we're just gonna wait for right now for a second. Shouldn't take too long. I think it's on a 1 minute cooldown or something. And then, there we go. And then you can abuse his fire weakness again. But before that, something else. Let's hope this works. If you're at a distance and are doing ranged combat with him, he will use a special kind of little skill. Come on, come on, come on. Where is it? It's not happening right now, as always, when I do a video. Jesus. Come on, man. There we go. Oh, there we go. There's lots. Lots of them. And usually they attack you, and they do a good deal of damage actually. They're not to underestimate. So if you're right here standing and shooting arrows at this guy because you're too scared of melee combat, which is perfectly reasonable, you need to watch your back, because these guys can sneak up on you and kill you quite quickly if you're not paying attention. So let's do the fire thing again. Come, jump up there. He still doesn't jump like a normal vanilla mob would. Thanks Mojang. Because again, the AI was removed. But what we have is a compromise. What I basically did is he executes the jump skill, not too high, and then immediately, like a few ticks afterwards, he will execute what's it called, leap skill, which will make him go in the right direction, as you just saw there. Right, not really. And again, I'm hit by the slowness effect. And if that happens, an armor stand will actually mount you, and you cannot attack anymore, which is quite bad, obviously. And it's meant for multiple people combat. You're not supposed to do this alone, and that's why I added this. He will only do that when he attacks you. Oh, look at this. Turns off all the fire in a radius if he's soaking. And yeah, that's how that works, but it's not working perfectly yet. He jumps quite a lot, which is good, and I have seen him actually go up quite high, like really high mountains. So combat with this guy actually works if you're doing it on a mountain. And that's something about the spawning conditions. Like, you wouldn't have to do it like in snowy plains or cold plains, whatever it's called, like right here, or a cold taiga. You could also take a dwarf from the top of a mountain. It just has to be high enough for a snowfall, and you will also be able to spawn this guy in. And it works to battle. It's pretty cool. So, actually, let me get his health down. Slowness again. Sorry for the mouse clicking, must be really loud. I have really sensitive microphone. It's actually for music recording. Makes it pretty darn good, but also kind of hard to, well, kind of impossible to not make it hear stuff. Like when I record music, I can even hear myself breathe on the recordings. It's terrible. They're so good. And anyway, I'm not sure, I might do like a very elaborate explanation of the coding on this, but it's in total, if you count all the files together, I think between 1,500 and 2,000 lines of code. I'm not really sure what to show you guys, because what he does is quite complex. And I mean, if you have any certain questions, I will be happy to answer them. And if it's a good question with valuable info, I might even make a video about it. But there's just so much to explain. I'm not sure if I can do it all. Okay, do a little jump. Stop screaming like a baby. There we go. And if you pay attention to the health bar, you can actually see it's flashing for 2 instead of 1 to indicate you're doing extra damage. Oh. I get hit by these on purpose. You can actually just jump over them. Because it's so cool. I just love how this works. The functionality of this is great. Now let's see if we can also get an Icebomb from this guy. Oh hell yeah. The explosion that happens here is actually low yield. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's mostly for environmental purposes and to get you in the right position to be thrown up by the succeeding skill. That doesn't do a lot of damage, but when you hit the ground it really does a lot of damage because you get thrown right high into the air. But it's also kind of cool when you leap towards Ymir and land like a super what you gonna call it? A critical hit. But if you didn't pack your feather falling boots, you better bring some ender bones so you don't get wrecked. Here we go. Oh yeah. Now that's quite high. And if you get hit, you get the slowness. Armor stand on me, I can't do anything. I'm trying to shoot an arrow. Can't. And if he goes below 20% health, which he is right now, he can't be incinerated anymore, or rather ignited. Like the flame stuff doesn't work anymore. He will be constantly in soaked stance, or soaking stance, which also means that he has a higher chance of using his balance skills. And I just wish I could do this with some other people right now. This would be great. See, there was the frost nova, I kind of dodged it right now. Again, you can also Icebomb. Hell yeah. Oh, this looks so cool. And it's quite deadly too, and destructive. Yes. What is he looking at? Oh, I'm lagging. Oh, there we go. Oh, Jesus, this computer. So, let's try to maybe see the Icebomb one more time, and then kill him off. Ah, fun. And what I'm still lacking is some atmospheric effects. Like, I wish there was some subtle music or something, but at the same time it's pretty dark and cool to have it like this, without any music and just the growling and the minor sound effects that go like, you know, I don't even know how to explain it right. It kind of works, but I also feel that something is like something I might add in the future, not today. Icebomb. What happens there is an armor stand that's thrown in the air, and at the right altitude it will spawn in the ice bombs. And then wait a few ticks, and then use a throw skill of the ice bombs, which makes them randomly scattered, and they also spawned in random positions, so it's kind of different every time. You can't, there is no pattern to memorize, and that's all that is. Really just a bunch of disguised creepers, basically. And oh yeah, what happens on them is to toggle them, you can't just use an ignition skill on them. What you have to do is use entity data changes. Not so difficult, and the entity data changes occur at a random time, which makes the ice bombs explode at random times too. And yeah, that's something I could show off in another video, like a syntax video. Anyways, time to get him down. The death animation didn't really... Oh, ice bomb, nice. Didn't really change, that's still the same. Kind of work in progress there, kind of float in the air, like the diamond block in the summoning process. The XP still drops from the sky, and the loot does too, and the loot hasn't really changed at all. I actually nerfed it, because it was confusing and weird, and there's not enough loot yet, and there's so much stuff to do. I will never be done with this. And the piece after it's done. And now let's just take a quick look at the destruction, the environmental destruction this caused. And this would have been more if it weren't just against me. More players mean more hits done to him. And mostly more ranged attacks, which do way less damage than the swords on him. And more hits mean more chances for ice bombs and the ice frostbites, which look so cool. They're randomly generated, by the way. I mean, the shape is always the same, but the distribution of ice and packed ice is always different. I mean, look at this one, and then in comparison, this one. See, they're different. I mean, this has been a little bit blown apart by an ice bomb, but they're all different. And yeah, lots of environmental destruction. Would have been way more if it was more players. This one again looks different, and it looks beautiful at the same time too. And the packed ice is kind of nice loot, because you don't have ice spikes biomes on every server. So this is kind of a nice side effect. How this works, by the way, is dirt, gravel, and grass get converted into ice, and stone blocks get converted into packed ice, which made sense to me. And I mean, the ratio between it is kind of cool. It looks evenly distributed, and yeah, lots of small changes. Can't really go into all of them. This video is long enough already, so I hope you found this interesting as always. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in, I don't know, just put it in the video comments, or talk to me in the MythicMobs forums, or if you want to talk elaborately. And I mean, if you're a MythicMobs creator yourself and want to do a talk and exchange experiences, we can talk on Skype or whatever. Yeah, just let me know what you think, if you like it, or what you would change or whatever. And be sure to download it. It's a good one and it's stable. And I'll talk to you guys later.